Welcome to Soul Yoga Online. We hope you enjoy your virtual experience.
Welcome to Slow Flow, everybody. Nice to see you again. We're going to work through some repetitive movements today with the breath to not only see if we can use the repetitive movements to calm through the nervous system a bit, but to also mobilize physically here, get the joints moving, get some blood flow circulating, and just strengthen and relax as best we can. So I want to start lying on our backs today. And as I said, if you have a blanket or just anything that can resemble that, go ahead and lay it on your mat. We're going to see how it would feel to start in a back bend here. You want to place your blanket just at the bottom of your shoulder blades. But ideally, you're still able to keep your seat on the mat, and then the top of the shoulders and the back of the head find their way down. So play a little bit with the placement of your blanket. And again, if you don't have one or just aren't feeling it, no worries. Leave it out and just find your back body. Okay. And then choose what you want to do with your hands here. So maybe taking the arms up and overhead. If you're currently working from home and sitting at a desk a lot, this might feel like a nice counterbalance to that. And then check in with your legs. What positioning feels best? So a bent knee might feel a little bit more protective for the lower back. You take your legs long. And then if you get into this and something just isn't feeling right, either lose the blanket altogether or come on up and explore taking it the length of your spine instead. Okay. So kind of take your pick. And then settle in here for a few cycles of breath. Deepening and lengthening both the inhale and the exhale. So if you can, actively begin to soften through the face. So feel the eyes relax, possibly close. Feel the cheeks soften into the jaw. And just start to drop into the presence of your breath, and just observing how it's moving for you. Breathing in deeper, and as you do, cultivating more space, feeling that expansive nature of your in-breath. And as you exhale, I want you to consider today very gently engaging through the belly button. Every time you breathe out, gently drawing the navel inward and upward. So we'll focus the inhalations on helping us create some space, physically and mentally. Allow your exhalations to ground and release. Just a couple more cycles like that. Maybe finding your Ujjayi breathing, subtle constriction in the back of the throat. If you'd like to explore a little bit deeper with that exhalation, notice the contraction at the belly button, but see if before that you can notice it at the pelvic floor. So as you inhale, you feel the chest expand, the belly soften, and the pelvic floor soften. And then as you exhale, find that contraction, that lift from the base up. A couple more cycles here, 2 more breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. So if you can, begin to use the breath to set aside anything you got going on other than your practice. Just set it off to the side with the breath. Let it go for the now. And just use that presence of your breath, the sound and the feel of your breath to continually drop back into the present moment. Let's take another breath here. Just notice how you're feeling through the neck, the shoulders, through the chest, the belly. Notice the length of the spine. Drop into the hips, the legs, the feet, the palms, the arms. Take one more cycle here, just feeling the whole of your body and the movement of the breath. And then staying as grounded as you can. If you do have propping beneath your back, I want you to go ahead and move it off to the side and just roll onto your back body. And then take one knee and then the other in towards the chest, letting those feet lift up off of the mat. Bring your palms to the shins. Draw your shoulders away from the ears just a bit here. Lengthen through the back of the neck for a moment. And then point and flex the feet. Breathe. Maybe roll out through the ankles a little bit here. So we're going to start with Apanasana here, and I really encourage you to, once you have the movement down, to let the challenge in the practice today be unifying that movement with your breath. That's the key to the present moment. So bringing your palms to the kneecaps, fingertips pointing down towards the toes. Draw your thighs as close to your belly as you can, bending the elbows and exhale. As you inhale, use the length of that in-breath to press the knees away, just until your arms fully extend. Exhale, draw the knees in towards the face. Start to flow with whatever your breath pace is. Inhale, pressing the knees away. Exhale, drawing the knees in. Continue to float here, and we're purposely using our inhale to press the knees away. You should feel the low back arch very subtly off the mat as you breathe in. The knees press away. As you exhale, remember to draw that navel in and up, drawing the thighs towards the belly, feeling the low back press into the mat. So we're starting to get a little forward bend, back bend action through the low back, moving with the breath. Inhale, press the knees away. Exhale, draw the knees in. Now take just a few more like that for me here. Continue on that inhale to press the knees away. The next time you're drawing your knees towards your face, simultaneously turn your head to the left. So knees come in, head turns to the left. As you inhale, press the knees away and bring your gaze back to neutral. As you exhale, draw the knees in and turn your head to the right. So we'll do that one more time on each side with your own breath. Your inhalation, gaze is neutral, knees press away. Your exhalation brings the knees in, and as they are coming in, turn your head to the left. Inhale, press the knees away, gaze is center. One more time here, exhale, draw the knees in and turn your head to the right. Move at your own pace. Let the feet meet the mat, kneecaps are pointing up towards the ceiling. Interlace your fingers behind the head here. Take a moment to pause and to just notice the breath. The more we can utilize the breath as a reset or refresh button on the mat, the more it's going to just show up naturally in other areas of life on the mat. So just breathe. One more breath. And keep your arms as they are, but bring the soles of the feet to meet and let your knees open to either side, finding Supta Baddha Konasana here. Settling in and breathing. Just 2 cycles, just allow your body to grow heavy towards the mat. Like we are yielding to gravity, layer by layer, breath by breath. One more breath, and see if you can breathe deep enough that you invite the movement of the breath. You're feeling that rise and fall with the belly. And then mindfully, slowly here, start to close your knees, release your palms as you do. Bringing your hands to the back of your right thigh and extending the sole of the right foot up towards the ceiling. The left sole of the foot is anchored to your mat. Take a moment to breathe here. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Either stay here, or if you can get to it, I want you to extend your left leg forward and just let it hover about an inch off the mat. Flexing both feet here, so drawing toes towards shins. Taking a breath in and a breath out. See if you can feel your calves wake up just a bit. And then slowly lower your left calf and heel to the mat. Option to stay here. On an exhale, we're going to start to peel the head and the shoulders up and off of the mat. Working to strengthen through the neck a bit here. So drop your shoulders away from your ears. Relax as best you can through the jaw and the face. And breathe with me here. Maybe you can start to work your fingertips a little bit closer towards your right heel. Keep breathing. Please be sure that you are being compassionate with whatever your current situation is, making any modifications that show up uniquely to your practice. Take one more breath. And then if you're lifted here, see if you can take one breath without hands to leg. So just release your palms forward here, making an 11 of the arms, and take a nice deep breath in and out. Lower the head and the shoulders back down. Place the sole of the right foot to the mat and raise the left foot up towards the ceiling. Take a grasp behind the thigh. Take a moment here to check in. Shoulders are shrugging away from the ears. We're breathing in and breathing out. And again, option to stay here or explore extending your right leg long and just allowing it to hover an inch or so above the mat. Make that your own. Ideally, your low back is staying connected to the mat here. Flexing both feet, so drawing toes towards shins. And go ahead and lower that right leg all the way to the mat. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, use that out breath to peel the head and the shoulders up and off of the mat, and then check back in. So we're working to build a little strength here, a little bit of an isometric hold, but working to soften within that. So keep the eyes relaxed, the jaw relaxed, keep breathing. 2 more cycles here. Maybe you can walk your fingertips a little bit closer to that left ankle or heel. If you're lifted, see if you can take a cycle of breath with no hands. So just reach your arms forward. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then nice and easy to lower back down. Bring both knees back in towards the belly. And find your way into a gentle, happy baby here. So take it nice and easy. Just draw the knees to either side. Take a moment to feel into the inner thighs. Stay here for 3 cycles of breath, or work the hands to the feet, maybe the back of the thighs, whatever works for you. If you're able to get the soles of the feet and the hamstrings to near the ceiling, go for it. But encourage the tailbone to go heavy towards the mat. And then drop into your breath. And again, see if you can explore how it feels for you today to soften layer by layer towards the earth. Just being supported. Feeling supported enough to find a sense of grounding, even if it doesn't feel super great, even if there's a little physical or mental resistance. Just practice leaning into that with the breath. 1 more cycle here. Go ahead and set yourself up for bridge. We're going to start to build upon that repetition once more. So feet meet the mat about hips width distance. Walk your heels in towards your glutes and let the fingertips just brush towards the heels. Join me here in pausing and taking a breath. Okay. On your next inhale, I want you to press into the feet, raise the hips into bridge, and see what happens if you take your arms up and overhead, back of the palms meet the floor above you. And then as you exhale, I want you to lower everything back down. So see if you can find your sacrum and your palms meet the mat roughly at the same time. Inhale initiates the lift into bridge. Palms maybe go up and overhead. Leave that out if you need to. Exhale, bring everything back down. Move through a few more repetitions at your own pace here. So breathing in, pressing into the feet, lifting the hips. Keep your knees drawing in towards one another, so notice that your knees aren't splaying out. Exhale, lower everything back down. Last 2 rounds here. You can move a little faster, a little slower than me. Work with your breath. Inhale, find your height and bridge. Exhale, lower on down. Wherever you're at in your flow, take one more full round. Inhale, press into the feet, raise the hips, arms overhead. Lowering vertebra by vertebra as you breathe out, softening palms and sacrum into the mat. Pause here, take a full breath in and a full breath out. And then once again, interlace your fingers behind the head. Take your knees to knock in towards one another and heel toe your feet out. See if maybe you can take your feet wide enough that you can feel the outer edges of your mat. And then moving into some windshield wipers here, let your knees float over to the right side of your mat. And as you do that, see if you can take your gaze to the left. And the bind of hands behind the head is optional, as is everything else. If you need to release that, let it go. Windshield wiper over to the left, gaze to the right. Just continue to breathe here and take about 3 or 4 cycles, moving at your own pace. Knees fall to one side, gaze turns in the opposite direction. Maybe you find a moment here where you would like to linger and practice yielding to the shape once more. But I'm here with you. We're breathing in, we're breathing out. Let's take 2 more cycles of breath together. Find your ujjayi. One more breath in and out. Maybe close your eyes. Just let yourself be here for a moment with the breath. Eventually find your way back through center. Pause, any shape you like, just take a moment to notice the breath. And every time we do that, we just arrive back into the here and the now. And then from here, I'm going to ask you to transition to your bellies. Okay? So just find a way to roll over, flip it onto your belly. Adjust for a moment or two here, and find your way into Sphinx pose. Okay? So elbows are beneath the shoulders, maybe slightly forward of the shoulders just a bit, depending on how your back is feeling. Widen your feet, maybe to the outer corners of your mat. Spread your fingers nice and wide. And then drop into the breath here. Just a few cycles, breathing in deeply, exhaling completely. Option to take a few neck rolls here for the heels. Find a little intuitive movement within the shape, always. Take another breath. Maybe this is enough for you. Please stay here if it is. You might explore moving into a little seal pose, nice and easy, just pressing into the palms and lifting the elbows just a bit. But pay attention to the low back. Wherever you're at, take one more cycle. We're all going to meet lowering, bringing the palms beneath the shoulders, forehead to or towards the mat. Take a breath. And then pressing into child's pose, I want you to keep your knees as close together as you can for this variation. So drawing your hips back towards your heels, belly to thighs, forehead towards the mat. And take a few cycles of breath, using that breath to just kind of massage the low back. Windshield Ujjayi. Take one more cycle for me. And then just note that this shape is available to you throughout the practice as you need it. Opportunity to ground, to yield, and to breathe. Because we're going to pull back, so grip through the fingers and be mindful with this transition, just pulling back when the palms starting to rise into tabletop position. Realigning your wrist creases beneath your shoulders, knees beneath your hips. Wag the tail for a moment here, just let your gaze fall beneath or between the hands. Moving into cat-cow, unifying it with your breath. Use an inhalation to take your back bend. So your inhale to drop the belly, lifting the chest and the tail. And your exhalation to press into the heels of the hands, tucking the tailbone, tucking the chin. Flow with your breath. Inhale and exhale. Good, a few more rounds like that, and see if you can come back to that awareness, particularly here on the exhalation of drawing the navel in and up. So you can start to activate and build core strength, just becoming mindful of that exhale, of drawing the navel in and up as you round into your cat. 2 more cycles like that. Inhale, arrive in cow. Exhale, round into cat. Maybe you deviate a little bit here with the movement. One more breath. Just think about warming up through the spine, about getting a little bit curious as to how your body feels for you today. And then pause at center for me here. Take one more breath. Walk your palms forward about an inch, maybe more. Now you can just round into a little cat if this isn't working for you. Otherwise, we're going to check in with a little bear crawl. So tuck your toes. Take an inhale. On an exhale, hover the knees an inch or two and feel the navel draw in and up. So you're just in like a little kitten here, bear crawl. Take a breath. We're going to flow. So you can move through cat-cow. Otherwise, on your inhale, drop the knees. Rise into that cow, and on your exhale, take it back into your bear crawl, feeling the navel draw in and up, letting the knees come to hover. And then take a few more rounds here on your own. Inhale, knees drop, chest lifts, cow. Exhale, turn on the core, draw the navel in and up, hover the knees. One more round, and we're going to hold there. So inhale, dropping into your cow. Exhale, come into that bear crawl with me and see if you can hold. All good. You can be in your cat pose here. Just focus the navel drawing in and up, but be sure that you're still breathing. So even though we're holding, the breath is still flowing. Take one more cycle here. And then one more time to drop it into cow. And you drop the knees, uncurl the toes. Maybe linger in that cow. Come into that cow with me here and breathe. Feel that opening through the chest and the belly. And then sit back on the heels, whatever you can get to. Bring palm to palm, interlace the fingers, bring your forearms to meet, and just roll out the wrists for a moment here. Right, there's a different action that serves you in order to give the wrists a little love. Take it. Let's take another breath. One more cycle in and out. Good. Standing on the knees, we're going to move through Vajrasana. So if you're newer to this flow, feel free to watch around and then to join in with me here. And again, most importantly, just try and flow with your breath. So we're going to come to standing on the knees. Palm to palm, thumbs to the heart space. Find your Ujjayi. What we're going to do here is on an inhalation, we're going to reach the arms up and overhead. On an exhale, I want you to start to sink your hips back towards your heels. Bring your palms to the low back. Open. Belly to thighs. Forehead towards the mat. Your inhalation here, really mindfully, reverse swan dive, so you have a flat back, strengthening to go up, palms meet up and overhead, and that's going to be our flow, everybody. So join in with me here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sink your hips back towards your heels, palms arrive open on the sacrum, belly, thighs, forehead towards the mat. Inhale, reach long with the arms, wide, strong back, squeeze your glutes a bit at the top. Take 2 more rounds like that with your breath. Exhale takes you down. Palm low back, belly thighs, forehead mat. Inhale, nice and strong and engaged to rise. You should feel your glutes working. Strengthen through the spine to rise up. And one more time at your own pace. Exhale, take it down. Belly thighs, forehead to the mat. One more time to rise. Inhale, rise up. Palms up and overhead. Lift the gaze. Draw the thumbs to the center of the chest. Stay standing on the knees for a moment here. And breathe in and breathe out. One more breath. And release your palms back to the mat, finding your way to downward facing dog from here. Walking your palms forward an inch or 2, tuck the toes, and start to coil on up there, pedaling out the heels just a bit. If down dog is not part of your slow flow practice today, no worries. Child's pose works. But breathe here. 2 cycles of breath. Take any liberties, any movements you like within the shape. And I always encourage you to color outside of the lines to make it your own. Take one more breath. Good. And once you walk your hands to your feet, to the back of your mat, nice and slow with that. Get a little arm workout in, just walking your hands to the back of your mat. And we're in a standing forward fold here together. Feet about hips width distance. You might bend fairly generously at the knees in order to release the torso towards the mat. Shake the head yes and no. Open and close the mouth a couple times. Soften the musculature of the face. Sliding the palms up the back of the legs, interlacing fingertips at the tailbone here. This might be enough. Pause there. Or maybe you let those hands leave the sacrum and ride up and overhead without forcing it here. Breathe with me, either way. Take one more cycle. And we're going to arrive in chair pose, so bring the thumbs to the tail and start to sit back into your chair, releasing the bind of the hands up and overhead as you go. And then readjust. Okay? So we're at the back of our mats, Utkatasana chair pose here. Weight mostly in the heels. Good. Breathing as best you can. Take a gander down at your toes and see if you can start to see even just a little bit of them arrive ahead of your knees. So shifting that weight back a little bit. Good. Turn on your core a little bit here. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, feel that lift, pelvic floor to navel and up. Good. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. We're going to take an eagle bind, so bring your arms out to 11. We'll start with the right arm over the left, grasping for shoulder blades or coming into the full bind. But breathe with me here. We're going to take a few little sit-up type actions. So this is your inhalation, lift the elbows. As you exhale, draw your elbows towards your belly button. See if you can grow heavy at the tailbone as well. You should find a nice stretch through the low back. And then try that 2 more times. Inhale, sit into your eagle chair. Exhale, crunch. Elbows towards belly button, low back lengthens. 1 more with me, guys. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, crunch forward. Now inhale, sit back, and then slowly start to rise. Release the bind. Maybe challenge yourself to move nice and slow with that movement. Widen your feet. Palms reach up and overhead. Keep breathing. We're going to drop the right palm to the right thigh. Laterally bend the left fingertips over to the right. Nice full breath. I'm really rooted through the feet here. See if you can work the gaze up without forcing it and soften the jaw. Come back through center so both palms are reaching up and overhead. Pause. Keep breathing. And bring your left hand to the left thigh. Reach your right fingertips over the left, finding that lateral bend. Breathe with me here. See if you can slowly work the gaze up in a very friendly manner. Soften the jaw, take a breath. Then bring it back up through center, both palms reach up and overhead. Reach up, gaze up, take 1 more breath. Stay here for an inhalation. As you exhale, swan dive back to your forward fold. We're going to move into our first halfway lift with me here. So on an inhalation, take a halfway lift and pause. Okay? While I can't see you, we're all here together, breathing in and breathing out. Pause in your halfway lift just to check in with the alignment as best you can. Fingers to shins, floor, maybe thighs, but think about drawing your shoulder blades back towards your waist. Find that core connection, that navel drawing in and up to protect the low back. Head is reaching forward, so really working to strengthen the spine and the back here. 1 more breath in here. As you exhale, I want you to fold, Utkatasana forward fold, soften the knees and head, and then take that 2 more times with your breath. As you inhale, legs straighten, spine lengthens and lifts halfway. Exhale, fold, soften the knees, soften the head, empty the breath. 1 more. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now inhale, come through that halfway lift and begin to walk the palms forward, finding your way to plank or plank on knees, yogi's preference, whatever you're feeling here. But let's breathe. 3 cycles of breath. Okay. So again, you can have the knees lifted and shift your weight forward and back just a little bit. Or maybe you drop the knees and hug the upper arms in. But see if you can feel a little bit of heat building through the belly. 1 more breath. We're going to lower all the way down. Let's see if we can go nice and slow. Drop the knees if you need. Hug your wings in. Stick with me here. 3, 2, maybe belly flop. 1. Okay, find your way. We're going to move in and out of cobra. So pause with me here. Again, we're mindfully and intentionally just slowing it all down today. Bring your palms beneath your shoulders. And please take the left side of your face to the mat and find your breath. On your inhalation, I want you to rise, baby cobra, drawing the shoulders back and down and taking your gaze forward here. On your exhale, lower down, taking the right side of the face to the mat. And then start to flow with your breath. So as you breathe in, rise, cobra, gaze is neutral. And as you exhale, you turn your head, alternating sides as you go. A couple more rounds here with your breath, everybody. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, take it down. Continue to flow here. Maybe notice as you're lifting this next time on your in-breath, see if you could let the hands hover a little bit. Press gently through the tops of the feet. And then exhale, take it down. We're going to take 1 more to each side. Okay. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Good. 1 more breath. Wherever you're at in your flow, come up 1 more time. Maybe the hands hover, maybe they don't. Exhale, lower. Whichever side of the face meets the mat is fine. Stay there. See if you can release your palms back, facing upward, and just allow yourself a breath here. Shimmy the hips, so loosen through the glutes a little bit. And breathe. And then take your gaze in the other direction and the same thing. Just take a nice deep breath, shimmying the hips, loosening up. And we'll bring the palms beneath the shoulders, zip up your legs here. We're going to find our way back to down dog. You're welcome to take child's pose. Press into the palms, come to those knees, tucking the toes and curling up into downward facing dog. Maybe you find your way to child's pose in place of this. Either way, we're all in this together and we're breathing. So pick the shape that arises most naturally for you in this moment. As we really work to become mindful of how we're feeling and how our bodies want to move and maybe need to move. It's just important to kind of tune in and do what you need to do. Take 1 more breath. And then this time we're going to start to walk the feet forward. Okay? So start to walk your feet to the front of your mat. Find your way to Uttanasana, forward fold. Get your feet hips width distance, maybe a little bit wider. And then here I offer up a grasp of opposite elbows to begin. Okay? So you're making a little square shape of the arms. Once again, doing your best to yield to gravity. And become mindful of your feet here. We tend to kind of forget that as we're just moving through life, daily activities. So just notice and see if you can balance out the weight through the feet. Maybe a little more pressure through the mound of big toes. And then you can notice what that does through the breast of the body, that integration up through the legs. Take 1 more breath. And if it's at all accessible here, I want you to interlace fingers at the neck. And just let the thumbs kind of rest on the other side of the neck. And just find a little traction here. If you currently have any seasonal allergies or headaches, sometimes this has a tendency to make it worse, so maybe avoid it. But breathe with me here, 1 more breath. And we're going to practice that halfway lift 1 more time from here. Okay? So release your hands towards your mat and find an exhale. As you inhale, find that halfway lift, shoulders back, spine long. As you exhale, fold forward. 2 more times with your breath. Inhale, lengthen the spine long, lift halfway. Exhale, maybe pull back. Pull on the back of the legs to draw yourself forward. 1 more. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And we're coming into Utkatasana, chair pose here. So as you sit into your chair, sweep your arms up and overhead. Second side. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer together. Take a little gander down at your toes, and we're just working in the direction of being able to see them ahead of the knees. If you're not there, who cares? Just work in there. Take a breath. Drop your shoulders away. Feel that core connection. Navel drawing in and up. Nice lift through the pelvic floor. And then bringing the arms out to an 11. This time we're going to take the left arm over the right. Find your eagle bind. Whatever works for you here. Keep breathing. On an inhale, I want you to lift your elbows. And as you exhale, draw your elbows towards your belly button. Round through that low back. 3 more times with your breath. Inhale, sit back into your chair and lift the elbows. Exhale, draw the elbows towards the belly button, tailbone heavy, chin to chest. Last 2. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, round. 1 more time. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, round. Inhale, sit back into your chair. Squat a little bit lower. You can cheat here. I can't see you, and I love you anyways. But sit a little bit lower, and then rise on up. Reach your arms up and overhead, widen your feet. Draw the thumbs to the center of the chest. And take a few cycles of breath here. Maybe in through the nose, out through the mouth. 1 more breath. Good. 1 last cycle here. And then coming to mountain pose on your mat. We're going to work into a little balance today. Excuse me. See if you can begin to shift the weight into the right foot. Finding Ekapada Tadasana. Hands can stay at the heart. Just lift your left knee. So that knee is somewhere in alignment with that left hip bone. Flex your left foot. You should really start to activate that core that we've been building, that awareness of navel drawing in and up, shoulders drawing back and down. Soften the face and find somewhere to set your gaze. This might be a little trickier depending on the surface you're practicing on, so just do your best. And then so you can take your right hand to your left leg. You can even help to hold it up a little bit there. And slowly start to open your left arm out to the side. So we're coming into Ekapada twist here. Opening and twisting to the left. So you're twisting towards your bent knee. And breathe with me here. Now working the gaze towards your back fingertips, your left fingertips, will be a lot trickier. So maybe you want to challenge yourself with that, maybe not. If at all possible, release your right fingertips. Arms open out to a T. You might even work to straighten your left leg. Play a little bit here. Keep the jaw relaxed. Take 1 more breath. And then see if you can unwind Ekapada Tadasana so that knee stays lifted. Torso goes back to front. Arms reach up and overhead. Take a breath. And we're going to step it back to Warrior 1. So nice and easy. Bend into your right knee. Slowly start to step your left foot back, planting it to the mat. Warrior 1. Square off your hips to the front of your mat. Right hip crease draws back. Maybe you want to heel toe that right foot out just a bit. Okay. And then bend into your right knee. Take a few cycles of breath here. My left foot is out at about a 45-degree angle, but I'm able to press through that heel. Okay. You're going to take your left arm forward here, straight out in front of you, and use that action to draw the right hip crease back. And then arms up and overhead. Okay. So we're going to move into the upper body just a bit here. Find your breath and find your gazing point. This is your inhalation. And your exhale, just right here. Breathe in and breathe out. Warrior 1. And I want you to join me in cactusing your arms, so bending both elbows out to the sides. Okay. As you inhale, think about drawing those wings back. And as you exhale, I want you to straighten your right leg and bring your palms in front of your face. And as you do that, tuck the chin just a bit. You should feel that upper back. That's going to be our flow, our repetitive movement here. Inhale, bend into the right knee, open the wings. Exhale, straighten the right knee, palm to palm, chin to chest. Now start to flow with your breath here. Inhale, warrior one, cactus arms. Exhale, front leg straightens. Open the upper back, palm to palm, chin to chest. Last two. Inhale, warrior one, open the chest. Exhale, palm to palm, chin to chest. Maybe these movements can grow a little bit bigger and then naturally start to ebb and flow with the breath. Exhale, palm to palm, chin to chest. Let's meet in our warrior one with cactus arms and take a breath, breathing in and breathing out. Exhale, sink a little lower if you can here. One more breath. So we're going to stay in this warrior one stance, but I want you to inhale your arms up and overhead, and as you exhale, draw them back to a bend, but imagine like you're pulling on a lever or a rope, really activating and strengthening through the shoulders. Last few like that. Inhale, press the arms up, look up. Exhale, draw the elbows down, drop the chin a little bit. Last two. So just working the upper back, the neck and the shoulders. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, draw the elbows down. One more with me here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, draw the elbows down. Inhale, fingertips raise up. We're in warrior one. Bring your hands to your hips for me. Bring your back foot in about an inch and straighten your front leg. So setting up for pyramid pose here. Hands at the hip creases here. See if you can use that L shape of your right hand to draw the right hip crease back. And you want to maintain that as we go here. Micro bend through the right knee, and then pause with me and just breathe. Just pausing for a breath. Now I'm going to explore today finding a reverse prayer or grasp of opposite elbows at the low back. You can join me in that, or you can keep your hands at the hip or even walk them down the leg. But see if you can come back to a halfway lift. So starting to hinge, drawing that right hip crease back, rooting through your back heel. See if you can find about that halfway and pause there and breathe. If you want more of a challenge here, try reaching your arms forward. If you need a little added support, let your fingertips just gently touch the shin and the knee. But take one more in-breath, lengthening, and then exhale, start to round into pyramid pose. Fingertips touch foot, floor, maybe some sort of prop, and then breathe with me here. See if you can come back to that idea of the ebb and flow of the breath. So as you inhale, allow the spine to lengthen just a bit. And as you exhale, allow yourself to round into the forward fold. 2 more cycles here. Perfectly fine to micro bend through that right knee. It's encouraged. Keep breathing. Wherever you're at here, see if you can start to draw the chin towards the chest just a little bit. Find an Ujjayi breath. One more cycle. Good. And then we're going to come all the way out of that, same as we went in. So find your breath, root through your back heel. Hands can come to the hips, the heart space or overhead, but pause at that halfway lift. Yield as best you can, take a breath, and then rise all the way up. Bring your back foot forward to meet your front. Mountain pose, top of the mat. 2 cycles of breath. See if you can find stillness here for a moment. And notice any variations from right to left. So these observances that we make on the mat just allow us to drop into what is now. Does your right foot feel a little different than your left? I've often heard it described and felt it as one foot kind of feels like it's in a bit of a hole. Just notice and breathe. You can stay here in mountain and breathe. I'm going to move through a sun salutation just to break it up between the sides. Okay? That sun salutation could be around a cat-cow. Okay? Exhale, chin to chest. Do your own thing. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hinge and fold. Halfway lift, mindfully, slowly halfway lift. Exhale, palms to mat. Walk it back, plank. Maybe you're moving through your cat-cow. or slowly lower all the way or almost all the way. Either roll or rise, cobra or up dog. And then take it back to down dog, possibly child's pose. Again, pick your speed, pick your shape. Definitely breathe. One more breath wherever you are, breathing in and breathing out. And we need to find our way back to standing forward fold at the top of the mat. I'm going to take a hop. Maybe join me. Bend the knees, gaze forward. Find your way. Find a halfway lift. Are you breathing in here? If you're not, pause for an in-breath. And then on an exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive and bring it all the way up with me here. Flat back, just like we did before. Palms up and overhead, gaze lifts. Hands to heart space, exhale. Root into the breath here. I notice, at least in my life right now, a lot of relinquishing of control. There's a lot of letting go happening. And sometimes the only power we might have in the moment is that of activating the breath. So just luxuriate in a cycle here. One more cycle, in and out. And then one more for good measure. Inhale, feel space, feel lift, feel expanse. Exhale, root through the feet. Release through the mind. So let's try all of that on the second side. So finding your way to Ekapada Tadasana. Feel the weight shift into the left foot, and this time we're going to bring the right knee up. Okay? So my right foot is flexed. That right knee is aligned somewhere along the hip. And again, see if you can keep the face soft and your gaze set. Keep breathing here. Another cycle. Hands to the heart space if you can get to it. Use that to encourage the shoulders to draw back and down. Okay, so we're constantly trying to remain open and fluid through the chest, energetically and otherwise, that heart space staying nice and open. And then left hand comes to the right knee. I am super wobbly on this side. Keep your jaw relaxed. And then see if that right arm can start to unfurl, and as you do that, you start to twist your torso to the right, opening that arm. Maybe keep your gaze forward for more stability. Notice that your core is turned on. You can use an exhalation to reactivate that. And then you might explore here. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to tumble out of it, and no one's going to see anyways, right? So reach your left arm forward. Maybe try straightening that right leg. Breathe here. Just feel the heat, where it's building in the body. Stay with your breath. One more cycle. Then find your way back to Ekapada Tadasana. Arms are reaching up and overhead. Knee is bent. Shoulders drop down from the ears. And we're breathing. Slowly, mindfully, finding warrior one here. So bend a little bit through your left knee as you start to kick that right leg up behind, planting it to the mat. Heel toe your left foot out to the left a bit and then square off your hips. Draw your left hip crease back, right hip crease forward. You want to be able to anchor through that back heel. And a lot of you have heard me say this in class many, many times. Think about being on railroad tracks rather than a tightrope here. And breathe with me. Okay. Draw the pubic bone up towards the belly button and see if you can soften your bottom ribs down just a bit. And just feeling into warrior one. Finding your breath. And then cactus your arms. Shake the head a little bit here. Breathe. Good. So as you inhale, draw your wings back. As you exhale, straighten your left leg, palm to palm, chin to chest. Flow with your breath. Inhale, open your wings, bend the knees. Exhale, straighten that knee, palm to palm, chin to chest. Last, 3 or 4, I forget how many we did, but inhale, bend the knee, heart away from belly, open front body. Exhale, draw the hips back, straighten that front leg, navel in and up, chin to chest. Last few here. Inhale, open front body. Exhale, open back body. One more with your breath, everybody. One full round. Inhale, bend and open. Exhale, straighten, palm to palm. We're going to meet warrior one, cactus arms. So find your way there. Set your drishti, find your gaze. So let it fall on the floor here. You know where we're headed. Focus on your breath. As you inhale, reach your palms up and overhead. And as you exhale, draw your elbows down. Do that a few more times on your own here. Almost that you're pressing against the air as you reach up, breathing in, and you're tugging down on something as you breathe out. Let's take 2 more rounds. Inhale, press the palms up. Exhale, draw the elbows down. 1 more with me. Inhale, draw the fingertips up. Exhale, reach the elbows down. Pause here. Warrior 1 with cactus arms. Draw them back. Maybe you can start to look up for just a breath. Good. Raise the arms up and overhead, and then release the hands to the hips. Bring your back foot in an inch or so, and straighten the left knee, and then make an L shape with your left index finger and thumb. Grab onto that left hip crease and actively draw it back as your right hip bone juts forward just a bit here. Draw the shoulders back and down. And breathe. Good. So hand-arm mudra of choice here. Hands can stay on the hips, behind the back. I'm going to try mine up and overhead, but I want you to meet me in that halfway lift. So as you start to hinge from the hips, that left hip crease going forward, starting to hinge forward here, soft micro bend through your left knee. Please don't hyperflex your left knee joint here, but see if you can find me in that halfway lift. And pause. Maybe try a cactus arms here. Take 1 more breath. Take an inhale here, wherever you're at in your breath. Stay for an inhalation, reach long. Exhale, fold. Find somewhere to land the hands, and then start to ebb and flow through the spine with the breath. As you breathe in, take a little lift, feel a little integration, a little lengthen. And as you exhale, start to yield into the shape a bit more, bowing forward. A couple more cycles. Inhale, and exhale. Good, another breath. See if you can find the shape for yourself here, and just encourage the chin towards the chest. Just encouraging that forehead towards the shin. It certainly does not need to meet, but breathe. And we're going to meet back in that halfway lift. Move nice and slow. So come into about a halfway lift, or into a halfway lift, not about. I'm going to bring my hands to heart space this time. Draw your shoulders back and down. Root through your back heel. Linger here. Relax the jaw. And then on an inhale, slowly and mindfully start to bring your way up. Pause and take a breath. And then bring your back foot forward to meet the front. And take a couple cycles of breath. Maybe let the arms flop a bit from side to side. Good. 1 more cycle here. And let's start to lower on down, everybody. So you can join me in a little toe stand, or you can skip it entirely. Okay? If you're going to come for this, squeeze your knees together, rise up off of the heels. Squeeze those knees as you start to lower. See if you can work towards shins mirroring the floor. Press the thumbs into the heart to encourage the spine nice and long, and breathe here. Take 1 more breath. Okay. And we're going to nice and easy find your seat. Okay, so plop it on back. Please take your left leg out long. Bring the right heel in towards the right seat. Wrap your left arm around your right knee. Bring your right fingertips behind you. And then once you have kind of the blueprint of this shape, notice your breath within it. As you inhale, think about lengthening upward. And as you exhale, maybe you can begin to turn your head towards the back shoulder here without forcing it. Relax the jaw. Please take a nice full deep cycle of breath. Nice and easy to unwind, bring it back through center, and then take the right ankle and cross it over the top of your left, where your thigh and your knee meet. Obviously, if that isn't accessible, you can just take the sole of your right foot to the inner thigh of your left leg. Sit up nice and tall, flex both feet, and then see how it would feel to start to bow forward here. Good, just a couple cycles of breath. Kind of helps me so there's less pressure of ankle to knee to kind of cradle that foot. Just a little bit. But take a nice full breath. Good, one more cycle for me here. Start to stack the spine, bring it on up. Push your right leg on the mat and bring the left heel in towards your seat. Wrap your right arm around that left leg. Left fingertips come behind you here. Once you have the beginning of this shape, start to let the breath help you find what it's going to show up as for you. And so your inhale brings your spine long, and your exhale helps you to rotate. Maybe turning your gaze towards the back shoulder, allowing the eyes to close or soften. Breathing. See if you can take a nice deep belly breath here. Let go a little bit with the exhale, mentally speaking. Anything you might got lingering there. We've only got like 5 minutes left, so just keep continually setting it off to the side. Just be with the breath. And then unwind. Cross the left ankle over that right thigh or knee. Or again, the sole of the foot can find the inner thigh. Whatever works for you here. Start to bow forward. And if you have that ankle crossed on top of the knee, just take your right hand beneath that foot. Just hold it a little bit. Cradling the foot, maybe the knee. Breathing into whatever you got going on here. One more breath with me here. Maybe you can yield a little deeper. Sometimes yielding doesn't mean deeper though. Sometimes yielding means backing off. Okay, take one more cycle. And then nice and easy to stack the spine. Bring it on up. Got a few minutes left. I'll give you a short Shavasana here. Okay, just a minute or so. Let's use the core to go back. Find your way into a little boat shape and just start to unfurl. Nice and slow. Maybe hover for just a moment. And then take it on back. Bring the knees in, find just a little bit of movement. So we're just going to rest for a minute. Okay, just to find a minute of quiet, and then we'll close practice. I'm going to take Supta Baddha Konasana, because that's feeling really good to my body. Take your pick. What would feel good to you here? Find it. And soften into it. Maybe let the head roll a little bit from side to side. And if you're in the position to do so, just join me in letting the hands rest over the belly, maybe a hand to heart and a hand to belly. Let the breath be however it wants to be here. And just practice taking about 30 seconds or so to just be receptive and accepting to the moment. Just allowing the practice to integrate. Slowly start to deepen your breath once more. Just start to bring everything back online here. Breathing in a little deeper, breathing in a little longer. Knowing that you can stay here. So if you need a longer Shavasana than I'm able to offer you today, just stay here, close your eyes. Be here as long as you like. I encourage it. Otherwise, as you're ready, bring the knees to close if they're open. Find a rock and roll, find your way to seated. Whether you're lying down or seated tall, just know that I'm here with you, breathing. Just remembering that we're all in this together, and really revisiting the idea, the law of impermanence. Things are always shifting, and things will inevitably change, and things will inevitably get better. So I'll close with a chant. You can join me or not. I'm going to take an Om followed by 3 Shantis today. Shanti means peace, and we chant it 3 times to invite peace of body, speech, and mind. Start with a clearing, cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And inhale to chant. Breathe in. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Breathing in and out. I miss y'all. Namaste. Take care.
Visit us online at soulyoga.org for details on a private session or public class. Namaste.